Okay. So welcome to Burge's Power Hour. And today, we are going to be playing with Emerging with Burge for the next becoming. So the question is, what are you becoming? What is the next becoming? The version of you? What is that going to look like? And I know that a lot of us are in transition right now, and maybe many of us are anxious about what's coming up next and how things are moving through our lives and in so many different ways. And of course, what's going on in the world can bring up a lot of anxiety and fear and those types of things. And it's really good to have a connection, as Bob and I were just talking about, just connecting and having like-minded souls to say, you know what, we're going to be okay. It's going to be okay, and we're gonna do this together, so we're not alone. So thank you for being with us tonight, and those of you on the recording, I'm glad you're here. You want to get paper and pencil, probably, to write a couple things down later on, because you know me, I like to do a little experience for you about what are you becoming next? What is it going to be? Who are you going to be? And what's it going to look like? And welcome, Anne. I'm glad you're here.
Hi there.
Another Anne. Hi, honey. Are you in North Carolina?
South, but yes, in,
Okay.
in the area.
One of the Carolinas. Okay. So welcome. I just want to say personally, I just have been through some crazy time because I had an emergency gallbladder surgery 3 weeks ago. And so I am recouping from that. And, life just kind of throws us things, doesn't it?
It does.
For us to go, okay, what is that about? And that was not in my plan. But I think our brilliant poet John Lennon says life is what happens to us when we're busy making other plans. So the next becoming is what we're going to be shifting and talking about tonight. So I want to get a little personal about my journey, and then talk a little bit about becoming and why some people might be afraid to be stepping out and becoming what's next and why that is. And then do a little ceremony and a little experience for you to see what is it that you want to become, what you're stepping into, and what you'd like to release the fear, if there is any, of becoming that. Okay. So I just I just had my 67th year around the sun. So I've been reflecting on that journey myself and what I'm doing. And for over 4 decades now, I've been walking with thousands of courageous souls like you, guiding them through transformational experiences through North America, South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, 6 continents. And right now, I find myself standing where so many of you might have stood before, or maybe you are now, with toes at the edge of the unknown, preparing to leap into what's next, perhaps. Okay. So after creating Essence of Being and doing this type of experience for 32 years here in the Conscious Leadership Academy and the Healing Forest Foundation, which is our nonprofit where we built schools in Africa, and we're teaching the children in Africa. We actually built the schools for them. I'm finding myself on pause. I'm having a call to pause, to breathe, and to allow space for whatever is emerging. So that's why I call this Emerge with Burge tonight, to see. And I just wanted to be transparent with you. I feel myself letting go of long held identities. Maybe you are too, or structures or roles. And not because they no longer serve, but because something new is whispering to be born. And it's scary for some of us. And for some of you, I know some of your transitions that you're going through, and maybe you don't even know that you're going through a transition, but in many ways, we all are living in this workshop, I call it, of life, or a play shop. I always shift it to play. It's we're living in this living, breathing classroom of growth and healing and trust and love and surrender. So I've watched people laugh and cry and fall apart and come together and uncover their subconscious thoughts that keep them from getting what they want, or what I call bubble talk, and what holds them back from their pure essence of who they are. And now I find myself going into the chrysalis, my own cocoon once again. So it's interesting. And I have no idea where I'm going to, what's going to happen exactly. It's formulating. And you might be finding yourself in that too. Maybe it's sort of like a caterpillar in a cocoon. It doesn't just grow wings, right? It doesn't go snap, I'm a butterfly, right? It dissolves completely. And in that mysterious soup of uncertainty, that caterpillar becomes something else. And we call that imaginal cells. They begin to appear. And it's the cells that hold the vision of what's possible. So we're imagining. So at first, the caterpillar's immune system, did you know this? The caterpillar's immune system attacks the cells, just like we might sometimes attack our own dreams or resist the changes that we know are needed, perhaps. And when that caterpillar moves and transforms into the butterfly, it's irrevocable. There's no turning back. It can't turn itself back into a caterpillar. And I think for many of us, there's that fear of the unknown of what does that look like? I know what this feels like. And if I have to go through this, what I call perturbation, which is where there's a lot of force coming at us, and all this force comes at us, and then all of a sudden we pop into a new organism, and it looks messy, and it's messy for a while. Like I said, the caterpillar doesn't go in there and just pop into there's a process. And so for many of us, that process of becoming something else or becoming something more, or whatever adjective you want to put there, is scary perhaps, but it's also messy. And what I'm encouraging us to do is to normalize the mess, to know that it's a process, that it is a process, and to know that the imaginal cells persist, they multiply, they connect, and eventually the old form gives way to the new. And I just want to say we all have those imaginal cells within us, the blueprint for who we are becoming. But it often takes courage, stillness, surrender to allow the becoming to unfold. Okay. So that's why I'm saying yes to me and my own whispers that are coming to me. I am leading I am leading a transformational retreat to Machu Picchu this fall because of this whispering that I've had. And it's a sacred place, but I'm choosing to bring in shamans for us to go play with. But it's a sacred place to journey and come out a new becoming. I'm called to play with that, and of course inviting people to come play with me in that. But I think for many people, our fear of losing what was can stop us. It's that fear of the unknown or the fear of failure. And so I don't know if you know James Baldwin, but he said that not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. And Samuel Beckett said, try again, fail better. So when there is change or a transition or a pivot, this authentic success arrives only after we have mastered failing better. And I've said all along in all my experiences in classes and play shops is failure is critical. It's part of the process. Because if you avoid failure, you could be avoiding success in that messy time, right? So fear of the unknown is could be because we're just afraid we're going to fail. And we don't want to leave behind what we knew. And it brings up uncertainty, doesn't it? How many of you are uncertain right now? Yeah. Yeah, and I feel, and you can feel it permeating everywhere for many of us. So here's the caveat. You know, the people in the military and tech industries, they say, hey, you're on a need to know basis, right? So everything's in the dark. We keep you in the dark until you need to know. So if you're like me and you feel like you have to know, spirit knows. Spirit knows what we don't sometimes, and we'll be shown the next step when it's time. And that can be scary for those type A personalities like me that I got to know everything, right? So, yeah, spirit knows, and we're being led, and we're not doing this alone. So, one of the wonderful formulas that I want to share with you is the change formula. Those of you who've taken Essence of Being, you may remember this, but basically, that change equals some form of vision plus a plan plus a little bit of breakdown, meaning a little nudge. You have to have a little bit of breakdown sometimes to act. Okay, some combination of those things, vision, plan, and breakdown, has to be greater than the fear of change. And that's the formula, because you'll keep doing the same thing over and over again. And so that fear of change keeps us stuck. So it'll stop us from becoming whatever that emerging is, whatever the next piece is. And so why I talk about a little bit of breakdown, many of us do grow or change through breakdown. And that's really painful. We get sick, so we make a change. We have a divorce, so we make a change. We get fired, or we go bankrupt, so we make a change. Okay. And through those changes, it's very painful. So this is a way to do it very consciously and with grace, is to do it intentionally. So yeah, it's an intention. My intention is to have a wonderful vision, have a step-by-step plan, and maybe I'll have a little bit of a breakdown to nudge me through, but it doesn't have to be a divorce. It doesn't have to be huge in order for you to be nudged to do something about it. Because, see, life is not a problem to be solved. It's a mystery to be lived. And this is part of the mystery. And those of you who have taken some of my other classes, I talk about the trapeze bar. So whatever you're flying into now, right? You're holding on to that trapeze, and it's what I know. And I see that I'm not going to let go of this trapeze until I know for sure that there's going to be another trapeze coming for me. So let's say you see it in the distance and you think it might be there, but you can't quite make it out. You're not sure it's there, and you're looking for it, and you're swinging on this, and maybe you reach out to try to grab it, and there's a moment in time where you fly and you could fall. But many of us, we grab the trapeze bar that's coming for us and we still hold on to the same one. And that hurts. That splits you in two. Okay. You cannot do that. It's impossible. You don't go anywhere. You just split in two. Talk about pain, right? So in order to allow ourselves to become, it's really surrendering and letting go of what we think what was, okay? The right job or the right relationship or the right place to live or the right purpose, okay? And we get really comfortable in our comfort zone, right? And for many of us, our comfort zone might feel comfortable, but it's not what we really want. So I don't know if those of you know, but I channel an energy called Shamanasta. It's a fifth dimensional energy. And they said that, when you're in that flow of metamorphosis, which talking about the caterpillar and the butterfly, when you're in that flow, there is a teetering back and forth between allowing and resisting. Allowing and resisting. And the portion of holding the energy is just a portion of resistance. We're holding that energy of what we have now or what we knew. So not wanting to go to the next level, whatever that is, not wanting to necessarily jump, it can feel like it's erasing everything that we were before that. And for some of us, that resistance is that unforeseen someone else. I'll say that again. The resistance is the unforeseen someone else. When there is a way that you could look back into your memory and realize that all this lifetime, everything that we've done up to this life has given us this next chapter for that long encyclopedia of creation that we're in. So everything we have done and been and showed up as now is preparing us for what's next. Does that make sense? Okay. I think what happens though is that many of us might have the Eeyore syndrome. For instance, Winnie the Pooh, he looks at what he's turning into, or he looks for the beauty. He's searching for the honey. You know, and how many of us are searching for honey? We want the honey, right? We want the honey. So, but he's focusing on the honey, and he's focusing on the good of the honey. But if something gets in his way, what does he say? Oh, bother. He doesn't let it stop him. He just, oh, bother. He assumes positive intent. But I think many of us kind of go to his friend Eeyore, and we have things that stop us, and we go, okay, it'll never work. Better not do it. It's not going to work. Didn't work last time. Better not try again. I'm going to be disappointed. Okay. So whatever you're focusing on is those of you who are essence of being grads, you know, focus on what's working, not on what's not working. Things have worked in your life in the past, so focus on those. And if you're feeling lost, maybe just appreciate and find your honey. Maybe you're lost right now and you're not sure which direction, or maybe you just have this unknown feeling, don't know what to do. Just focus on the honey. Appreciate something in your life that you can focus on that's working. Look at it as an adventure. What's next on the adventure? I mean, it's hard to do that. I understand when I'm laying there in the hospital and they're saying I'm taking an organ out. That was not my, I was visiting somebody in the hospital when that happened. Okay. I was being a patient advocate, and they said, oh no, you're going to the ER right now. I never left. So I wasn't planning on having an organ removed. Okay. So I know that sitting there, and I had to come to grips with that and going, okay, what can I focus on the honey here? What was this about? So luckily I was there, because I could have been anywhere when I'd had that, and I was in the hospital when it happened. So yeah. So bottom line is, the more you move, the more you have an effect. The more you have an effect, the more you create. The more you create, the more you matter. Okay. So there is a knowing here that we have, and this is another thing that Shamanasta said, and then we'll do a little experience. Okay. Shamanasta said that a lot of us, we try to create a sense of belonging, a sense of awareness, a sense of oneness, a sense of connection, a sense of validation. And many of us search for that validation that we have within ourselves. Yet you even want to, this is what they say, you even want to have your existence validated as well. Many of you are walking around with the feeling that you're a shadow, that you are the illusion, that you are the negative, that you are the other, that you are outside of yourself. And those of you who live this way, believe this way about yourself, will continue to struggle, and will continue to search for something that you feel you cannot have. So they said many of you will walk around with a feeling of helplessness and a feeling of being an other, a feeling of separateness, a feeling of wanting to attach to something that has value, wanting to encourage yourself to believe in yourself again. So many of us might be looking for that validation of why am I here? In other words, the confirmation that there is something more. We want to know maybe there is another way. And many of you may ask, why do we have to suffer in order to see that there's another way? Why do we have this feeling of struggle and doubt and dis-ease and all of this in order to see that there's another way? And we say to you, this is what they say, all this, again, a sense of duality. So they're talking about the sense of when you become physical, we have a non-physical side. It's our soul, it's our spirit. And so we're living in this duality just by being here. It's an inherent feeling that we have. So, in other words, when you become physical in this physical world, there's spirit guiding us, there's our soul, there's the paradox of this illusion of the body. So, therefore, it feels separate. And it feels that there's a duality from a physical and non-physical. However, what happens is there's truly no reason for disease or fear or separateness. It just has become an inherent part of our learning. So I'd like to offer us experience to unlearn or to just step into perhaps what's stirring inside of you, and let's name it, okay? So I want you to get a pencil and paper, and those of you who are listening, those of you who have notebooks and reams of this, Bob, those of you who are listening on, if you're listening on it, you can come back and listen to it later because you'll get the recording. But let's go ahead and just get present first, okay? So let's just close our eyes, unless you're driving. Just close your eyes, and what I want you to do is to take 3 deep breaths into your belly through your nose and release it out of your mouth. So we'll breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. Let's do it again. Breathe in through your nose and breathe out through your mouth. And one more time, breathe in through your nose and breathe out. Feel your body and keep your eyes closed. And let yourself land in the here and now. Keep your eyes closed and just breathe normally. We're going to access that intuition side of you now. So ask yourself gently, what is longing to emerge within me right now? What is longing to emerge within me right now? Allow yourself to know that answer. What part of me is waiting to be seen? Don't force the answer. Just notice any images, words, or feelings or sensations. What part is waiting to be seen? And then take another breath in and out. Let's name What wants to be released? An old belief, an old story, an old behavior no longer fits who you're becoming. And I invite you to either say it out loud, or when you open your eyes, you can write it down. What part of you are you releasing that no longer serves who you are becoming? Go ahead and take another breath. And gently, I invite you to open your eyes and write it down. What is longing to emerge? What part of you is waiting to be seen? And then write what that story or behavior or belief that you're releasing that no longer serves. Go ahead and write that down. I'll give you a minute or so to write it down. Go ahead and finish up on the one you're on. Okay. And then I want you to write one more thing. We're going to declare a commitment that you're going to make to yourself. Okay. So write this down and I'll put it in the chat as well for those of you who are on the chat here. I am willing to trust my becoming. I am willing to trust my becoming, even when I can't see the path ahead. I am willing to trust my becoming even when I can't see the path ahead. And then write, I commit to, and then fill in the blank. I commit to what action step, what small step can you take right now in the next week? I'm willing to trust my becoming, even when I can't see the path ahead. I commit to, and write down what you're going to commit to, and then we'll anchor it. I commit to what? Something you can do this week or feel. And then once you've written that down, I want you to write one more thing. We're going to anchor that, whatever you wrote down that you're committing to. And the anchor sentence is, I trust the process. I am enough. I am emerging. I trust the process. I am enough. I am emerging. And so the process, whenever you write that down, when I say anchor, is this is something you can say to yourself. You put your hand on your heart, put both hands there if you want, and just say, I trust the process. I am enough. I am emerging. I trust the process. I am enough. I am emerging. And whenever you're feeling, maybe you want to remember this, whenever you put your hand on your heart, both hands, I trust the process. I'm enough. I am emerging. Okay. It's anchoring it into your cells. So does anybody have their next becoming whisper that you'd like to share? What was your next becoming? Anything you want to share? So we can hold the vision with you. Yeah, Anne? Okay. And
I
yeah.
don't remember if you know that my husband died in February. I think you
Yes.
do. And so I'm releasing being a wife, and I have studied business for a long time and made it a hobby, more or less. I love to learn, so I got a lot of pieces now. It's time for that to emerge as being me being more visible, to do the work that I want to be doing in the world, and yeah, I'm calling myself. I'm planning to do send out cards, and they call themselves gratitude consultants. But my bottom line is also that kindness matters. So I'm going to be calling myself a kindness catalyst.
Oh, me likey.
Thank you.
Likey, for sure. A kindness catalyst. So all of the plans, all the things of being a wife, and do you have kids too?
Yes, I
Or
have one son and one grandson.
Okay. So being a wife and a mom and a grandmother and all of those things that you've learned through that process, honey, being kind, catalyst, and really sharing that to other people is powerful.
And my husband was in the dying process. He was ill for 2 months, and he was in the hospital 6 out of 8 weeks in January and February. And I had so much love and support that my faith grew. I had the experience of earth angels and heavenly angels, and so now I'm more intentionally reaching out to help other people. I've had so many people say, "Well, what can we do?" But for you, but I didn't really know what to tell them. One man said, "You know what? I don't know what else I could do, but if you need some muscles to move something heavy, I can come and do that." I love you. You told me something specific, but now I'm reaching out more intentionally when I hear that someone just had surgery, or I have a stack of cards that I didn't mail, which is why I'm interested in send out cards now. I guess it's better to send them without my real signature, but get them out there instead of having them sitting on my desk. So I'll be doing that. So and be creating products that have kindness and gratitude and self-care and things like that um, as their theme.
Wow. So you're committing to something full of love, and you're doing it with kindness and love and in your heart, sharing it with others. And that's very specific that
Yeah,
you can commit to doing that. And I really, really, for you and all of us to just really anchor that in, honey, that I am enough and I trust the process and I am emerging. That is
yeah.
powerful. Yeah. That's brilliant.
Thank
That's
you.
brilliant. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And that's a very powerful imaginal cell that you're stepping into.
It's time.
Yep. Well, it's time when it's
I was
time.
once told I got so I have a friend, and she's passed now, and she was very connected to guides and angels, very very connected, and she did an angel reading, and she said, "You just can stand in your living room and just beam out light in the world, and you don't have to do anything else." And I'm like, "Oh goody, I don't have to be seen."
Oh,
But I know that I could be a person to send light and love, but I also need to be taking action now. You know,
well, may I suggest just saying I choose. I choose to
I
take
choose.
action.
I
Yeah.
choose to take action as
Don't put
well.
the pressure on yourself. I need to. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
Yeah.
I like it.
I choose to. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anne, did you want to, the other Anne, your microphone's off. Did you want to share something or no?
Well, I am going to continue. I've been thinking about, well, I've been crocheting a bunch and I've been considering whether I would like to get some Angora rabbits because rabbits are cute and maybe the dogs won't eat them. And then I'd have a few pounds of wool every year, like a pound per bunny.
Mhm.
So I'm going to see about uh, pricing out housing and all the rest for them and see whether we can't get an indoor outdoor rather like those things people put up for their cats
Ah,
where they can go inside and outside and yet
that's
not
cool.
be totally loose with the foxes and coyotes.
Right.
But it
So
would be
you're,
fun if one day I could actually start full-time crocheting and have just a little yarn shop.
so that's
Probably,
your next becoming whisper that you're stepping into.
it feels like something to do. It may take me another 10 or 15 years to get there, but
What it,
I'm on the slowest path of
well,
anyone I've ever met. Everyone I know is retiring, and I'm considering starting businesses. So there you go.
hey, you know, uh,
Yeah.
listen, tiring is it's all in the eye of the beholder, right?
My
Whatever.
sister retired last year and now she's a dog show judge and house organizer and is just helping people all over the place.
So what are you letting go of, honey, in order for you to create that for yourself? What is it that you're releasing?
I am releasing this. I've always wanted to go and fight and see whether I could get that CPA certification into a license status. And I think I'd have to go basically back to school and get another master's to get all that CPE for all the years when I didn't do it. But I'm considering just letting it go and going, okay, I'm just going to be a darn good accountant and roll forward and see what I can do to help people with accounting.
Excellent. So you're releasing that
Honest.
need of having to get another certification and more learning and another master's. And it sounds like crocheting sounds more fun, but I don't know. Maybe accounting is fun for some
I
people.
I like accounting. I think it's amusing and fun and I it's the sort of my brain works well for it.
Thank
But
goodness.
but yeah, I reckon there has to be some of us weirdos
Oh
around.
yeah. Thank goodness. Yeah.
I
Bob's,
mean, I
Bob's one
swear
of
I burn everything I cook, so therefore I've got to be good at something.
Well, honey, I really just committing to looking into that, and maybe it. I wouldn't put a time limit of 10 to 15 years. I would just say this is what I'm committing to, and remember this, putting it over your heart that I trust the process. I am enough, and I am emerging.
Yep, and the
And
universe will take care of me, no
indeed,
matter what.
indeed, and that is my belief as well.
It's so nice to see you looking so well, Burge. I was worried when I heard about the surgery, but I'm glad to see you looking so well.
Thank you. Thank you. See, my old self would say, "Oh, it's all smoke and mirrors. I'm putting on lipstick." But see, I'm choosing to say thank you and just allow it and receive it.
Well, because you look cute, so
Thank thank you. I appreciate that.
yeah.
Bob, did you want to share anything before we?
Yes. I had an interesting little bit of a process because my first thought, for better or for worse, was emerging into a life of leisure, i.e., retirement. And the story I told myself is, um, well, there was a lot of limiting beliefs that I don't have enough money to retire, and I have to earn abundance, and if I want nice things, I have to earn them. And then what popped up in the middle of all that was this is not about abundance and retirement and a life of leisure. This is about joy. And somehow I have it in my head, everything I wrote about abundance, I can just put in the word joy and it still applies. I have to earn joy. If I want joy, joy isn't just handed to me. Um, so that was like a very interesting aha moment. So um, I did tweak a little of what's in the chat only because of how it was set, how certain things were said to me in the past. So hear me out. Um, I am willing to trust my becoming even when I can't see the path ahead. I commit to embracing joy. I trust the process. I am loved. I am enough. I am emerging.
You can always add "I am loved," honey, no matter what you say or do. But that's a brilliant thing to just keep pouring into your heart. And I commit to choosing joy, right? To embracing joy. Wow.
Embracing.
Wow.
No clue what that looks like, but
That's what you're becoming. You're becoming the joy. You're becoming the joy that you choose to embrace. Yeah. And absolutely firing and letting go and releasing the need of, or the fear of the abundance and not having enough, and that you have to earn it. May I suggest for you and anybody else to releasing that old belief that you have to earn it. Yeah.
I want to add that my intention for this year was I choose joy in all circumstances. And believe me, the journey that my husband went through and I went with him was not joyful, but there were so many blessings that that's where the joy came in. So um, it's in all circumstances. If you can look at it positively, find the things to be grateful for again.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what I've said. If any of us ever feels lost or uncertain or not sure, as we all know, to get present and start looking around us. What am I grateful for? Well, I'm grateful I have a light here. I'm grateful that my computer works. I'm grateful that my stitches are healing. You know, I'm grateful that it's been raining. So there's all of that that brings you back to the present moment, and it really kind of resets. So I think that's always a brilliant thing to do, and to follow up on that. If you're, like I said, if you're feeling lost or not sure, and for me, I have to remember what's going on for me now is, like I said, there it goes back, it teeters back and forth between allowing and resisting. And I want to know. I want to know what's happening. I want to know where I'm going. I want to know what's going to be. That way I can focus on it. So for now, I'm in that in between time, and I'm letting it brew. I'm brewing. And so if you're not quite sure, just keep it brewing. And remember that transformation doesn't stop, right? Life will keep inviting us to rise up, to remember, and to reimagine. You know, and the thing I have to remember is when I'm reimagining something for what's next, it's life force flowing through me. So many of us might have gotten a little stagnant. This is the way we've always done it. And it's been easier because it's, or we think, but then that life force of the creativity, the creation is not there, maybe as much. And so that's what whenever I'm feeling not sure, I'm reimagining it, and my life force is growing. And after every chapter that we're bringing and becoming to, it's a new level of awakening. So I'm looking forward to the awakening. I'm looking forward to the joy, Bob. And just like I tell everybody else, when you find yourself in the unknown, you're not lost. You're in the process of becoming. And that is a beautiful place to be. And to be aware of it. I just want to say thank you for all of you that are here to be conscious of that. Because the more you're aware of that and conscious of it, man, the intentionality is limitless. You're not just sleepwalking. You're awakening, and you're awake, and you're intentional. And it's so much more fun that way. And it's more fun to do it with you guys. So I appreciate you being here. What were you going to say, Bob? You had something?
Well, I was gonna share. I had a thought
Uh-oh.
as I was getting ready to, as I was packing up the car and getting ready to actually, make the major move from one side of this great country to the other. I turned 60 in July,
Ooh.
and somehow the thought crossed my mind that, to the best of my knowledge, I have more years behind me than ahead of me, and I want my last act to be this grand spectacle of a Jerry Herman musical finale with bombastic music and elaborate costumes.
Of course. But of course. I love it. And I want to be a part of it. I'll be in the audience singing along. Or actually I'll just get on stage with you, as you know. So because that's my background.
Yeah. Hello.
Yeah, that's my background.
Since when are you an observer?
Well, right. I like to play with you guys. Thank you so much for joining us tonight with Emerging with Burge. And I felt like I just wanted to make it a little more personal for me as well and share that. And just to remind everybody that this the third Wednesday of every month. And I looked back and I've been doing this since 2014 every month, these power hours. And the next one will be July 16th. So I'm still committed to doing these for now. And the next one that we're going to do is going to be a continuation, I feel, of this. It's the courage to be seen. And I think, Anne, that might be good for you, Dolly. The courage to be seen and stepping fully into your power. Yeah. So that's what it'll be next time, July 16th. And again, I invite you, to please come play with me if you're wanting to expand. I'm saying yes to my journey, and I sure would like to do it with people that I care about. That would be essenceofbeing.com/Machu-Picchu. And that's in the chat as well, just to check it out. It's October. So it's October 25th through November 1st. It's going to be a chance of a lifetime. I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be an intimate. I'm bringing not a ton of people. Okay. Won't be like the cruise, Bob.
You'll just have to do another one.
Okay.
Or let
Not
Lainey
to
do
Machu
it.
Picchu. Not to Machu Picchu. This is one of my bucket lists calling me. So, all right, my friends, anything else that you'd like to say or share before we close out tonight?
Blessings
No?
and thank you. Blessings to all.
I received that. Blessings to all of you as well, and thank you. And emerge with Burge. It's more fun doing it together. All right.
This is true.
Take care.
Night.
Good
Thank
night.
you. Good night, everyone.
Night.
It's still afternoon for me, but
I
good night.
know.